If you are a junior engineer reading approved document F and thinking, I understand background ventilation, I understand extract, but purge ventilation still feels vague, this video is for you. Because purge ventilation is one of those areas that sounds simple until you actually need to apply it to a room layout, a window strategy, or a compliance review. And if you get it wrong, the design can look compliant on paper while still missing what the guidance is actually asking for. This video is part of the same learning series as my other breakdowns on Approved Document F Volume 1, Ventilation Strategies, and the wider logic behind dwelling ventilation. So if you are building your understanding section by section, this one should help connect the dots. In Approved Document F Volume 1, the ventilation strategy is built around 3 main layers. First, extract ventilation removes moisture and pollutants from wet rooms like kitchens and bathrooms. Second, whole dwelling ventilation brings in fresh air and helps dilute pollutants across the home. Third, purge ventilation deals with short-term peaks in pollutants and water vapor when they need to be cleared quickly. That third layer is what we are focusing on here. Because purge ventilation is not there to do the daily background job of the system. It is there for those occasional moments when the pollutant load suddenly spikes. Think painting, cleaning products, extra moisture, fumes, or simply a room that needs a rapid flush of air. So in this video, I am going to break down what purge ventilation actually is, where it is required, how Approved Document F says it can be achieved, and the practical mistakes junior engineers should avoid when reviewing drawings or layouts. Approved Document F says the dwelling should have a means of ventilation that can rapidly dilute indoor air pollutants and disperse water vapor when necessary in habitable rooms. That is the key purpose of purge ventilation. It is about a rapid response, not the everyday baseline condition. That distinction matters. A lot of people look at ventilation and assume that as long as there is a fan somewhere and a trickle vent somewhere else, the room is covered. But purge ventilation is its own requirement within the wider ventilation strategy. It is meant to deal with occasional high concentrations of pollutants, not the continuous daily load that the rest of the system manages. Approved Document F even gives examples like fumes from painting to explain the sort of short-term activity it is intended for. So as a junior engineer, the first thing to lock in is this. Purge ventilation is the rapid clearance layer of the strategy. Not background ventilation, not whole dwelling ventilation, not normal extract from wet rooms. Rapid clearance. Approved Document F says that a system for purge ventilation should be provided in each habitable room. That means you should not be thinking about purge ventilation only in the abstract, or only at whole dwelling level. You need to think room by room. And that is where junior engineers often trip up. Because on a drawing, it is easy to see that the dwelling has windows, or that there is a ventilation strategy generally, and assume that is enough. But the guidance is specifically talking about purge ventilation in each habitable room. So the question becomes, can that actual room purge effectively to outside? Not just the apartment, not just the corridor side, not just the overall facade concept. That room. So when you are reviewing layouts, ask yourself, does each habitable room have a realistic means of purge? Is it actually direct to outside? Is the opening usable in the way the design intends? That way of thinking is much more useful than just scanning for the presence of a window symbol. Approved Document F says purge ventilation should be delivered through one of the following means: openings, such as windows or doors, or a mechanical extract ventilation system. That is really important because some people casually talk about purge ventilation as if it is always just open the window. But the guidance is broader than that. So from a design point of view, purge ventilation can be achieved in 2 ways. The first is natural purge ventilation, where the room is purged through openable windows or doors directly to outside. The second is mechanical purge ventilation, where a mechanical extract system is used to achieve the required purge performance. That means the question is not, does this room have a window? The question is, how is purge being achieved here? Sometimes the answer is a window. Sometimes the answer is a mechanical solution. Sometimes it is a combination. But there has to be a deliberate answer. And that is a much stronger way to review a design. Approved document F states that purge ventilation should be capable of extracting at least 4 air changes per hour per room directly to the outside. That is the actual performance target sitting behind the requirement. This is also the point where junior engineers should slow down and be careful, because many people remember the window area rule, but forget the reason behind it. The guidance is not saying window area is the goal. The goal is the purge performance. The window guidance is one route to demonstrate it in common situations. That means the real target is the 4 air changes per hour. The opening area guidance is a practical route to get there. That difference matters because it helps you understand the document rather than just memorize it. Where purge ventilation is delivered through openings in a habitable room, approved document F gives minimum opening areas in Table 1.4. For hinged or pivot windows with an opening angle of 15 to 30 degrees, the minimum total opening area should be 1/10 of the floor area of the room. For hinged or pivot windows with an opening angle of 30 degrees or more, and for opening sash windows and external doors, the minimum total opening area should be 1/20 of the floor area of the room. That is one of the easiest places to make mistakes, because people often hear 1/20 of floor area and apply it blindly without checking the opening type or opening angle. But the guidance is more specific than that. A smaller opening angle gives less effective purge, so the required opening area is larger. That is why the 15 to 30 degree case needs 1/10 of floor area, while more open windows, sash windows, and external doors can work at 1/20. So when you are reviewing windows for compliance, do not just ask, what is the room floor area? Also ask, what is the opening type? What is the actual opening angle? Is this really the type of opening assumed by the guidance? Because that is where real compliance checking happens. Approved document F explains that the opening area values are based on assumptions from BS 5925. These include single-sided ventilation, an urban environment, a wind speed of 2.1 meters per second, and a temperature difference of 3 degrees Celsius between inside and outside. That tells you something really useful as a designer. These values are not magic numbers, they are based on assumptions. And once you realize that, it becomes much easier to understand why some designs may need more thought. Because if the building form, location, facade behavior, or room arrangement starts to move away from those assumptions, then blindly following a simplified rule can become risky. This is especially important for junior engineers. One of the biggest steps in your development is moving from I know the number to I understand where the number came from. That is how you start reading guidance properly. Approved document F says that depending on the dwelling design or the external climate, it may be possible in some circumstances to achieve 4 air changes per hour with smaller openings. But if smaller openings are proposed, expert advice should be sought to ensure the design complies. That means the simplified opening guidance is not the only possible route. But it also means you do not casually reduce window sizes and assume it still works. If the design team wants to justify smaller openings, that needs a more robust technical argument. So from a junior engineer's point of view, that should trigger a question, not an assumption. If someone says, the opening is smaller but it's fine, your next thought should be, what is the basis for that? Has it been demonstrated? Who has verified it? That is a strong engineering mindset. Approved document F also says that hinged or pivot windows with an opening angle of less than 15 degrees are not suitable for purge ventilation. This is a small line in the document, but it is a very useful one, because it stops designers from over-crediting small restricted openings that may help with background air movement but do not really achieve purge. So if you have a window arrangement that barely opens, you should not be casually counting that as purge ventilation just because technically it is openable. Again, this comes back to intent. Purge ventilation is supposed to clear a room quickly. A barely open window is not the same thing. This is also where it is worth linking back to the rest of the channel. If you have already watched my videos on what Approved Document F Volume 1 covers and on ventilation strategies, You will know this guidance only really starts to make sense once you see how the different layers work together. Extract deals with local pollutants. Whole dwelling ventilation deals with the background supply and dilution of air. Purge ventilation deals with short-term peaks. Once you understand that, the document becomes much easier to read. There is also an important point around overheating. Approved Document F says it sets minimum standards for purge ventilation to rapidly dilute indoor air pollutants and extract water vapor where necessary in habitable rooms. But it also says that Part O may require a higher standard than the guidance in this document for purge ventilation to remove excess heat. And if that happens, the higher standard should be followed. So purge ventilation under Part F is not automatically the same thing as the ventilation strategy for overheating under Part O. Sometimes the same opening might contribute to both. But the compliance logic is not identical. That is a really useful thing to understand early in your career, because otherwise it becomes very easy to assume that one check automatically covers the other. Sometimes it does not. So if you are reviewing a layout, a facade, or a dwelling ventilation strategy, this is the mindset I would use. First, identify each habitable room. Second, ask how purge ventilation is being achieved in that room. Third, check whether the route is natural, mechanical, or a justified combination. Fourth, if it is natural, check the opening type, the opening angle, and whether the opening area actually aligns with the guidance. Fifth, make sure the purge route is genuinely to outside and not being overassumed through an arrangement that does not really function the way the designer thinks it does. And sixth, keep in mind that if someone is deviating from the standard opening guidance, that is where you should expect more technical justification. That is the kind of thought process that makes your reviews more valuable. So to summarize, Approved Document F Volume 1 requires purge ventilation in each habitable room. It must be capable of at least 4 air changes per hour directly to outside. It can be achieved through natural openings like windows or doors, or through mechanical extract ventilation. And if you are using the standard opening method, the required area depends on the type of opening and the opening angle. If you are a junior engineer, this is one of those topics where the real value comes from understanding the why behind the guidance, not just the table values. And if you are working through Approved Document F section by section, check out my other videos in this series as well, especially my breakdown of what Approved Document F Volume 1 covers, and my video on ventilation strategies. Because together those will help this guidance make a lot more sense in actual design work. If you want more simple breakdowns of approved documents, HVAC, and real design logic, subscribe to the Lazy Engineer.